أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. May Allah bless our lesson. Inshallah.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, let me mute all of you, such that we don't have that poor background coming. So I've shared the questions in the chat. You can kindly download them onto your gadgets in case you have not yet received them. Allow me now to invite our facilitator, Mr. Simon, to take over. Teacher Simon, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kaziba Stephen. I want to confirm if I'm loud and clear.
Yes, you are very clear.
Hello?
Yes,
all right,
Mr.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Kaziba. Thank you so much, Mr. Kaziba, and everyone on the call. Good morning, everyone on the call. I want to thank God for the life that we have till today, that we are meeting once again. I want to thank you, Honorably Mr. Kaziba, for all the efforts that you're doing to see to it that we have such facilitations, to see that everyone gets a chance of getting access to these lessons and classes. Allow me share my screen here such that we can start. As I share the screen, I want to welcome you, dear students, and all the colleagues on the profession who are on the call. To start with, I want to thank Mr. Kaziba. May I confirm if my screen is there?
Yes, I can see it from this side.
Okay. I want to begin by introducing myself. Kanike Simon Peter Chiviri is my name. I'm an ICT teacher. I teach at St. Edward's S.6 Bukumi. The school is located in Kakomero district, and I teach ICT. Today, we are going to go through this paper. This paper has been compiled after a thorough going through of various mock papers of paper 2. I went through a number of them and tried to get the commonly appearing skills that were required, and some of those that looked a bit rare, those that were required of us as candidates to do. It will not mention of any mock, but there are many mock papers, many mock bodies that were consulted to see which skills were commonly asked for, such that we can have something in common for us to share. Just as we said the other day, that you as a candidate, before you even start doing anything, the very first thing you're supposed to do is to get the question paper, read the instructions. Sometimes the support files that we get on our computers have different file names, especially the folders. They're given different names. Please make sure that before you open a folder, you have the correct support files for you to use. I had this experience during the previous mock exams. Some of the students opened the wrong support files and they did the correct work, but at the end of it, they found that the work was not coordinating with what they were supposed to do. Coming to the time of printing, almost all of them were fidgeting. They wanted to redo the work, but they could not redo the work because time was already up. So my dear candidates, I want to ask you, please be very careful when you get to the time of using the support files. Number 2, as we are getting to the final time, Please acquaint yourself with the skill of burning your work on CD. Acquaint yourself with the skill of printing your work, because we shall expect you to produce both hard copy and soft copy. And we know very well that soft copy is supposed to be on CD, hard copy is supposed to be on paper, printed out. Also, I always advise that before you actually start doing work, you know very well the question is telling you, instruction number 2 here is telling us that we shall have to attempt any 3 questions, and any additional questions will not be marked. The question paper has actually 5 applications. Some of us in our schools, we are blessed that we have studied all the 5 applications. There are some of our friends who have had a chance of studying only 3 applications because they are the mandatory, it is the mandatory number. Others by now have studied 4, and we have hope that by 3rd term, we shall be attempting the 5th application. However, of recent, I interfaced with some where they are still having only 2 applications. We are all supposed to study and learn and pass these things. And I want to assure you that ICT is possible. But remember, it's only 1 point. The sample space is too small. I always advise, please, before you start doing questions, can you read through and find out which skills are required? And can you actually do or attempt those skills? A question where you can attempt more skills and you score very many marks compared to the other should be given the first priority as you are attempting. Time yourself as you're doing the exam to make sure that you have an average of 30 minutes for every question that you are attempting. You have 2 hours such that in 1 hour and 30 minutes, you're done. The other 30 minutes can help you to print, to burn, to make sure that you have done everything here and there. If you realize that you're going to 40 minutes, you've not yet completed the question, please leave that question and attempt the next question. Okay, let's go through these questions here. Also, before you go through them, make sure that as you get the support files, please open the folder for support files, look through the files and make sure that you can be able to see if there are images. The images are there. Are they opening? Yes, you can see the images are there. Check for these files. Are they opening? You would open them because some of them could be erratic. If they don't open, please ask your teacher or lab attendant, whoever is in charge of the lab, to give you correct support files that are able to open. Feel free that you always go through and check them. Okay, let's first read through this question here. Question 1 tells us, using a word process application, load a file suspension.doc in the folder resource support files. Let's open if we have that suspension. Yes, suspension is here. Okay. After loading, what are we supposed to do? Load and save it as your name and personal number in your folder. This is yet another challenge with the candidates, that as you open to create your file to save your work, the default location of the computer, especially these files that we are working on, is a folder called documents or my documents. Some of us, we do the work and we fail to save this work in our folder. May I have in the chat one student on the call? Please put for me your name such that we use it as a demo here. I want to use some student name. Please write for me one student name here. Whoever student is here on the call, write for me your name. I want to use it for. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, the names are flowing. Nakuya Agnes. Let me take the very first one. Nakuya Agnes. So we are going to use a folder for Nakuya Agnes. Okay. The very first thing we shall do, actually it may not be the very first thing, But one of the first things we have to do, we said go through the questions, read them to make sure that you follow up. The marks are always assigned to us on the right hand here. Count the skills that you can do. Get the question that you can do thoroughly well. The one that has more marks, that you can score more marks, is the one that you should attempt first. Okay? So we shall go through them in order. The first thing we do here is create a new folder here. Which folder we are going to use for? This is Nakuya Agnes. Allow me, Agnes, let me give you a personal number of 512 because that's how you're supposed to save your folder. This is our folder. So question 1, let's attempt question 1 first, so that we go in order. We shall attempt all the 5 questions today. Question 1, using word processor, we are supposed to load suspension and save it as your name and personal number in your folder. By loading, it means please open. So we shall open this. Suspension is there. Please open it. As we open, we are supposed to save it as. There are 2 ways of doing this. The very first way is what we are doing now. You open it. After opening like we have opened now, come to File, select Save As. In the same folder, these newer versions will give us this environment. Please look for Browse. If you look for Browse, the other older versions of 2007 and 10 will give us this dialog box. So we are supposed to look for the desktop here. Look for our folder. We have just created a folder, Nakuya Agnes 512. So we are supposed to change this file name here to our name, Nakuya Agnes 512, and save. For you to confirm that you have saved, please check the title bar here. Your file name should be changed like that. Also, feel free, come to your folder before you even continue. Open this folder, confirm, is my file in there? Yes, it is there. So you can continue. That is way number 1. Alternative number 2, because this file is supposed to be in our folder. Alternative number 2, a candidate would simply, let me first delete this. Because we have not yet done anything, you would simply come here, copy this, Ctrl+C, or you right-click here, select copy, this option, then come to your very folder that you have created, this one, Nakuya Agnes, paste here, Ctrl+V, and then right-click and rename, or click it once, and as you click once, you press F2 on your keyboard and rename as Nakuya Agnes 512. So that is the file, and then open it. So that is the very first step. Load and save your file in your folder as your name and personal number. That's number 1. What are we supposed to do next? Copy a file called caseslist.doc to your folder. A file called caseslist.doc. It is here. We are told to copy. I think we know how to copy. There are many ways of copying. You can either use this option here, or you can right-click, look for these more options and select a word, copy, or you could simply click once, go to your folder, click once, go to the keyboard and press Ctrl C. We are supposed to copy from there and paste it in our folder. That is what we are told to do, such that in the folder you're expected to have those two files there. Use the word processing feature to insert the fields in the cases list.doc into your letter. So this is a letter. This one is a letter. Commonly, dear candidates, whenever we see this, can someone tell us here, what does it require us to do? Someone asks, do you work from the support files? No, you're not supposed to work from the support files. This is what I was trying to do to show you. Don't work anything from the support files. You're supposed to be copying everything from the support files to your folder. Mohammed has something here.
Yes, sir. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I have something to put across.
Yes, please.
Now, with the saving, Mr. Simon,
Yes, please.
at times when learners copy this work, okay, I've realized that gone the days UNEB used to give us support files with a format called rich text. I think you remember.
Yes.
Now, this one would limit some formatting features. So if this
Yes,
learner
please.
copy direct, if the learner copy direct the file to his folder, upon opening, some features may be limited. How I wish is we emphasize to them loading a file and using the save as feature, because this one would even allow them, in case it was maybe sent in a rich text format, it would ask them to convert to the current version. Are you seeing that?
Yes.
So ideally, me, when I'm teaching them, I would say it is also a good option, but in case, we can't tell what your name might bring.
Of course.
So I prefer using the save as. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir, Teacher Muhammad. Thank you for the input. True, that one is okay, but also because just the good thing you said it, those cases of rich text format are nowadays rare, and at least most of the current word processors can freely and openly and quickly open even the rich text format. But I think we can keep it at that. Thank you so much. Members, let's continue here. Just like the teacher said, I gave the two formats, the two options. You never know these new versions here, 2016, 2021, 2019. Some of the schools have these versions. And on learning, we learned from 2010, 2007. Issues may come by. In the chat, members said we are supposed to use mail merge, which is very correct. We are supposed to be using mail merge here. Some of you, especially when you're given to type this letter times you're given to type it when these symbols are given to you. And surprisingly, you find a candidate also typing these fields here. If you're supposed to be typing the letter, dear candidate, you're not supposed to type these things here. And so here for us, we are supposed to be removing them because the instruction is telling us that we are supposed to use a word processing feature to insert. The text tells us to insert. So what we are supposed to be doing here, we should go to the tab mailings and say we start mail merge. The mail merge we are starting is letters. So we are telling it to start mail merge as letters. After that, we shall select recipients. This case, we shall say use an existing list because we are given a file that has those names. And when we get this dialog box, we are supposed to locate these files. They are on the desktop in a folder called Nakuya Agnes 5 in a file called cases list. So from there, we shall select it and open. I think before that, let's first open this file cases list and see what is there. It is also important that you open it and see how does it look like, what is there. So we see there is salutation, doctor, parent's name, student's class, gender, and device. Okay. So we close it. Before you continue, that file is supposed to be closed. The next thing we are supposed to do is to select this part now. Because we are told it is parent name, remove parent name, come here to insert merge field. We shall see parent name, such that it comes and it is simply inserted there. Then there is where we have student name. Insert merge field, there is a student name. There was a comma here, and this one was at the bottom. Then we shall have student's class. Come here, look for student's class, and we shall put it there. Then somewhere here, we have salutation. And the salutation field is there. Suspension of your child from school. I regret to inform you that your gender, I see a field of gender here. So you should come to insert merge field and select gender. Has been suspended from school for a period of 2 weeks after being found in possession of a device. This is a field which we are supposed to replace. Device, which is illegal at school as stipulated in the school rules and regulations. You are expected to escort your gender. Let's look for this field again and fill it there. Your gender to school to meet the disciplinary committee 9 September 2024. At 10 a.m. in the school boardroom to discuss the fate of your gender. This gender here with, is this amount really there? I think I forgot to add this one there. The amount field is not there. Allow me we ignore it there now because I think I didn't recall it was there. So let's just add the gender again, but this is how we add these fields there. Sorry, this is supposed to be device. The field here is supposed to be device. So that is also one thing that we have done. Use the word processing feature to insert fields in the cases listed. Then align the school address to the center and the date to the right. Align the school address to the center. The school address, I think, comes from here up to this. There are many options. Option number 1 is coming home. You select center, or you could use a keyboard shortcut, Control E, to make sure that these things are in the center. I beg some clarification about using function 12 to shift the work. Don't we replace the gender with either son or daughter and device the crime committed? According to the question that was set, dear Winnie, keep it to the settings as given. Son or daughter is going to come and replace itself. Someone asked about F12, I didn't get it. But I want to beg that we keep the questions. Actually, let's keep them in the chat. We shall respond to them at the end of the question. Okay. Okay. We said align the school address to the center and the date to the right. Okay. This is in the center already. The date is supposed to be aligned to the right. So we click the right alignment. Increase the font size of the document accordingly. So when we say accordingly, I think where is supposed to be bigger, where is supposed to be smaller. In my opinion and understanding, we shall have this first heading here. We shall have this first heading bigger than the others because we are told to increase the font size. Bigger than the others, then these ones may also increase a little. Increase the size of the document accordingly. So we increase the size accordingly. That is my accordingly. So you who is also doing, you will have your accordingly. The issue is changing, but making sure that the document looks professional. Change the font style of the letter to one of your choice. So since we are told to change to one font style, I will simply Control A to select everything, or you would come up here using your mouse, select everything. And as you select everything, you simply come here where we have the fonts. I will select Times New Roman because the default one was Calibri body. I have changed the font, changed the font style to of the letter. Insert an image SSS.png as a watermark in your letter. Okay. So we are supposed to insert a watermark here. This is in a tab called Design. Watermark is here. We shall select Custom Watermark. Custom watermark, it is supposed to be a picture watermark. And from here, we shall select picture. Then we locate our folder. Sorry, the support files folder. Because the support files folder is now this new office will even want me to go online, but I want it from a file. If you are not connected to the internet, it will give you some items here. Look for the one of working offline, because so here I will select browse and come to the desktop. Look for the resource files. In the images, I'm told it is supposed to be SSS.png, which I think is this one. SSS.png, I will apply it and close. That is the watermark that we are supposed to insert. Then insert your name as the head teacher of the school. So my name today is Nakuya Agnes. Nakuya Agnes as the head teacher of the school. After that, we are told to merge all the letters into one document and save it as letters in your folder. Merge all the letters. That means we are supposed to have finished. We are supposed to finish merge here. Come back to mailings. We have this option of finish and merge. So here, because we are told to save that file, we shall select edit individual documents. And this option here, we shall keep it at all because the examiner wants all the letters in my folder. And I am told to save it as letters. So after that, we shall realize, we shall find that we have this letter for Mr. Talemwa Nicholas, a parent of the cat Victor Senior 2. Dear doctor, suspension of your child. If you realize that these fields have gone on changing according to what was in the letter. So this letter has this document has 7 letters, and we are told to save it as letter. So we shall come to file, select save as, or if you are on the keyboard, you would simply press Ctrl S or F12. If you press F12 on your computer, on your keyboard, it will give you the dialog box, and we are supposed to save it as letters in our folder called Nakuya Agnes, and boom. So that's it. The file name here will change to letters. And the last instruction is guiding us and telling us to print one of the letters. How shall we do this one? Because there are 7 letters and the examiner wants me to print one of these letters. When we come to print, Ctrl P, we are printing this one. Here, you're supposed to select the printer. Of course, at school, at your school, the teacher or lab attendant will guide you on which printer to use. So you select the printer from there, but you're supposed to print only one letter. You either come where there is pages and put, maybe you want to print letter number 4, you put 4. It will print for you only letter number 4. Or you would come here where there is print all pages, you click there and select print current page. After that, you click this button of print. As you click that button, it will produce for you strictly the letter that you're currently viewing on your screen. That is what it will be doing. I think that is the end of that question number 1. Let me check the chat and see where the some issues here. Must I beg some clarification about using function F12? F12, I think I have said it. It is used for saving as, activating for us the button, the command for save as. So don't you replace the gender with either son or daughter in the device. You realize here where there was gender in this letter here, in the original letter, where we have gender for a student who is a boy, the first one here, the letter where there was gender, it is replaced with the son. The student is in Simba Hussein is in senior 6. The gender is given son. Let's see if we shall have a girl here. This is also son. Now this one is Nakanja Koidivina is given as daughter. So once you put those field names there, the names will automatically, the fields will automatically change the information there. Naiga says, I beg your pardon on watermark. Okay. Someone says, good morning, then watermark. Issue of starting when you have support files. Oh, now, again, I think I have not understood what you mean by starting. How I wish you would throw more light there. Sometimes the letter divides into 2 pages. How can we solve that, sir? Okay. I beg your pardon a bit inserting pictures while offline. Thank you. With mail merge, when you go to print the select pages, they are all printed regardless of the pages you order to be printed. What could be the issue with my computer? I doubt if you can command. I have 7 pages here. When you look at my status bar here, I have 7 pages. When I come to print and you tell it to print the current page, I don't think print. You come here and tell it to print the current page. Then you select your printer. I don't think it can ever take you back to print all the pages. Then someone asked about why sometimes the letter goes to a new page. The following are the issues that I commonly see. Some of you, the students, the line spacing is too big. This is common when you're the one typing the letter for yourself. Some of you, after completing this line, you will press enter. You come here also, you press enter, and you split the paragraphs. Others, you wish to have very big characters. Like here, we are given choice of increasing the font ourselves of our choice. For me, I increase the size here to only 12. But some of you will increase the size because you want a big letter. You'll increase it to 20. So this is the size of the letter that you're writing to a parent. Trust me, if you have this size, these characters are going to come at the bottom. So your letter is going to have 2 pages and the signature of the head teacher is going to come on a new page. And believe me, you're going to get disorganized of yourself when you see such a disorganized letter. Keep yourself simple. Come and reduce the font size here to make sure that you have one letter. Also, you are good at using the enter button. For example, I also have a new space here. If you can realize here, there is a space at the bottom. This is a paragraph. May you please delete and remove that paragraph for you to do away with those new pages to make sure that your page ends at only 1 page. I want to repeat for the colleague who asked about the watermark. I know I'm seeing a number of notifications of the questions in the chat. We're going to come back to them. Let's repeat the watermark here. Let's first remove it. So our work looks like this. There is no watermark. What you do, come to watermark, select custom watermark. This is supposed to be a picture watermark, and you select picture. You're given a dialog box. I said, and I think most of us should be having Office 2013, 2010, 2013, and above, 16, 19, 21, those versions. They'll always require, because these guys create the programs knowing that they always have internet and their files are saved on the drive. But for us, our files are saved locally. It will give you an option here of going online on the drive, looking on Google. You would look for one on Google, but ours is on the computer. And please don't look for any other file or picture that is not provided to you in the support files. The examiner will think that you copied if you put a wrong picture. That's a sign of malpractice. It means you knew that the examiner is going to ask for that question, will ask you for that picture, so you prepared yourself very well with that picture. At least you rather use a clip art. So we said from here, from a file, and I said if you are not connected to the internet, it will give you some icons here with the notification that you are offline. Try again or work offline. When you click work offline, and when you click work offline, they'll give you this dialog box. This dialog box, look for your folder. We said our folder was on the desktop. and it was called these facilitation files, resource support files, their images, and ours was triple S. So we look for triple S here and insert. After insert, you'd either keep it washout, but I think we would keep it as washout such that it's faint, not to cover our work. And okay, apply. So as we apply, the image will come in the background. And since this is the same document, we may find ourselves that all these files are having the same watermark. Okay, repeat us more about mail merge. What exactly can we repeat? Copy the work from support files and paste into your folder, then work within your folder. Yes. Thank you, Carol, for that. You said I shouldn't use support files for doing work. How do I load it in my folder? Oh, what if I save the letter first before merging? Thanks for that clarification. I'm looking for where I last read. Thank you, teacher, with mail merge when you go to print. Okay, this one I think I responded to. So how can you put a footer on one letter and even the watermark? Okay. Thanks a lot. So I was asking about page breaks. Usually happens when the letter is long. When the letter is long, it will create page breaks. And on creating page breaks, actually it will not create page breaks, but it will create a blank page at the bottom. Names for the gender to be automatically filled. As per this question, the fields were given. The fields were given. I want to first go through all these. You said you shouldn't use support files for doing work. How to load in my folder. Okay, Carol responded to this. Repeat for us more about mail merge. Okay, thanks so much. Repeat for us the question about fields. How can we insert on only one page? Okay, so what if you ask to hyperlink a word in the first page to a certain word in the next page? Our computers at school refuse to bring the option of desktop, and when you search the documents, never appear in there any other way of applying an image like copying and pasting. Okay, I'll talk about a few issues that I have seen here in the chat. Mail merge, page breaks. I said page breaks will not happen if you don't insert them, because we just insert them here. Now someone asks, how do we create a watermark on one page? Let me first close these letters here. This is letters which we saved. Let's first remove this watermark here. At least our question is done, but these ones are just for revision purposes. Let's first complete mailings. Finish, merge, and edit all these letters such that we have the 7 letters. All the 7 letters have no watermark. We want this watermark here. There are around 2 options. The first option in watermark, we would right click this, but this one I think applies for the text. Insert at current document position. So this one will come and apply itself here. Then you click it and remove whatever word is there. After removing, you just click. That one applies for the text watermark. For the picture watermark, the option that I know you would insert it the way we inserted it. Select picture, and we shall browse it offline. This is our S.6 photo. Insert and apply. So here what you do, activate the header footer section because in all the pages, when you look at this, all the 7 pages are having the same thing. So activate by double clicking the footer or the header. You double click here, and as you double click to activate the header footer, this image will become active here. So what we do, we shall simply come and touch the image here and cut it. I have pressed Ctrl X to cut it. So come to the page. Oh, sorry. So this one is applying on all the pages here. Now this would be the other way around because I had activated and I wanted to remove it from this one. This document seems to have created various page breaks. These are page breaks that were created by the document. So we are supposed to, if it creates like this mail merge document, if it creates it like this, you would plainly just delete from the pages that you don't want it to be. Okay? Such that you leave it in only the position that you want it. If not, like we create a new document here, which has, I have created 4 pages. We would insert the same. Let's try to insert the same watermark. This one has no page breaks. We are trying to insert the same watermark. This is S.6. I am not adding any text here simply because we have done the rest and we are looking for only one thing. So here we would do, you see that they are there. You would double click, activate the header footer section, right click and cut, and double click the space. When you cut, you realize that all the 4 pages, now this one has no page breaks. All these ones disappear. So I want it on page 3. Then Ctrl V and leave it at page 3. So that's where the watermark of one page is inserted. Footer on one letter and even the watermark. I think this applies on the same. The footer can apply on one letter after inserting a page break or after inserting page breaks. Paper page breaks usually happens. I think this one I responded to. How did you insert the names for the gender to be automatically filled? Oh, you said you shouldn't. Okay, how did we insert the names to be automatically filled here? The names to be automatically filled, you realize, I think, let me first open this file again. We are told, we are given this cases list. We were given this table. The next time, you never know, this table might be given to you on paper. And it is also a common question. This table here might be put for you. Let me see. This table sometimes is given to you and put for you on the question paper. I'm not sure if I can recall my question paper where I saved the word document. Could it be here? No. Could it be here? Yes. Let me just open this to show you a sample. You're given the question and you are asked, this is the question, and you are told, maybe at the bottom somewhere here, you're given this table. Somewhere, somehow you're given this table. Let me just try to reduce it a little. I want to condense it a bit, but it is becoming a bit stubborn also. Okay. You could be having such a table. In the very question for Microsoft Word and the question paper, the question somewhere, it is not here, but I'm just giving you a scenario, dear candidates. You're given that please use this table and insert, use the table below to create the 7 letters using any word processing feature. And we have commonly found candidates having typed this table below the letter. The fields go missing and we have a table, that table of names at the bottom here. The moment you type that table, dear candidates, just know that you have failed the question because you're not supposed to type those names there. Those names are supposed to be created. If it is given as a table, then you're supposed to come and create. If it is given to you as a table like this for you to type, you are supposed to come where we have mailings, where we say the select recipients, you're supposed to say type a new list. And you'll be given these field names. Normally we say customize columns, and we would delete all these ones. You either delete or rename. Let's go through this very fast. For me, I'm deleting all of them such that I put mine and we customize what we have. Okay, so you'd say you add, which field names do you have? The field names we have, I think one of them is salutation. Add another one of parent's name. Add another field of student's name. Add another field of class. Add another field of gender. Add another field of device. And after that, you click OK. So these are the fields that we have. And after that, after you having this field name here, you type the very data that was given to you. Where is this? Now this dialog box can't allow me to open that table, but let me just put salutation, doctor, the parent name as Makuya John, the student name as Kasozi Jovan of senior 1, the gender we would put son, and the device may be phone. This is what you're supposed to do. Then you say new entry, and we say maybe Mr. Akugiziwe Billy, parent of Kabanda John of senior 3, and the gender is son, and maybe it was also phone. Like that, and you put all of them, then you okay. Now, after that, you save this table. You would preferably save it in your folder. This is in case you're not given a support file. Call it table in your folder. That is the preferred location. But this one will come as a database file. So here, after saving it, you'll be able, when you come to insert merge field, this is parent's name. You'd come here, change this, the parent's name, the student's name. Would put the student's class. So here we say salutation, insert merge field. I'll end that one there. So here we would even preview the letters. Invalid merge field somewhere. Okay. So you realize that we have these ones now. Makuya John, parent of Kasozi Jokan of senior 1. And we say, dear doctor. I think I have tried to respond to you. Dear members, you have taken some good time on this one question. Watermark on one page, I think we have talked about. Sometimes the computers, this one, you have a class code. And so how about creating a page bound array on one page? How is it fine? We have not moved to database, but we are still on mail merge. SAS, try and send some class, the class code. Okay, the class code is that one. Okay. Members, allow me that we end here. Maybe someone was asking about, I think that page on 1. The border on one page. This one we should not save. Let's close this. This was the table given to us, which is supposed to all be in our it is not supposed to be here. Okay. Allow me that we go to the next question, dear members. I think all the questions in the chat we have sorted. In case there is any, we shall remind ourselves as we go forward. Load the spreadsheet, application of your choice, and enter the following data. Save it as your name and personal number in your folder. We have gone to question 2 of the spreadsheet. Oh, someone is reminding us of the page border. Okay, let's do the page border very fast before we load the spreadsheet. Let's work on the letters. I think let's open this Nakuya Agnes file. Now this one has only one page. Let's just copy, create a new page here, paste, create a new page, paste. We have 3 pages here. Yes, we have 3 pages. So we shall have page border here, page borders. And the page border here, maybe we select this one. We shall select apply to this section and click OK. No, normally it is supposed to be the first page or the other pages. Okay, let's select the box. These others I'll not go through. You know how, I suppose you know how to select these border styles, the colors, the weights, the art styles. This section, first page only. The other one, we have not selected the section. So when we select first page only, it will give us only this page. Then we would also apply to this section except the first page. It will give these 2 pages, but the first page remains without a border. Then let's first remove the borders. Again, I think I want to create a new section here. Insert page break. So we can come here and select to put on only. We select and say this section. Boom. Oh, now not sure why it is not applying on only this page. Insert page break. Let me see here. We'll review. Breaks. I want to look for the section break. Okay. Let's come here, next page. And we shall create a break for this one. Then after that, come to break, look for this page, the border style, and say this section. After putting that section break, it will apply to only that one page, not the other pages. I hope you have got something. You first come to the layout here. In the breaks, apply a section break. Then when you go to borders, you will select apply to this section. Okay. We said we have a spreadsheet here. Load the spreadsheet application of your choice. This is our question 2. To enter the following data, save the data as your name and personal number in your folder. So here is another scenario. No, this table is not supposed to be here. Here is another scenario. Commonly, the students have a tendency of coming to create a file here, right-click, new, and you will select your files from this shortcut, which is very okay. But some of the computers don't have these applications set in the shortcut. So what you have to do, if you find it here, if you don't find it here, you raise your hand and say, teacher, this computer doesn't have Excel. Teacher, this computer doesn't have Word. Who told you that that is the default location for Word? You are supposed to click the start button. Some of them will be here as the shortcut, but still it may not be. So simply come here and search Excel. When you type Excel, it will be given to you in the shortcuts here, in the apps. After getting it from here, then you continue and save it as instructed. Okay? As it loads, let's see what is here. Why do page borders fail to be created at times? Is it computer problem? It is not computer problem, it is user problem. What if I save the letter first before merging? Of course, you're supposed to save the letter before merging, and after merging, you save the second copy that you have merged. Someone asked about the hyperlink. I think we shall see the hyperlink later. Kind of remind me, let's first do this, then we shall open Word later. Don't worry. Okay. No, this is not what I want. We said open Excel. You are supposed to open Excel. And then according to this, we are supposed to create an empty one where you are supposed to type these names. And after typing the names, you're required to do whatever the question asks you to do. But allow me, I'll not type. I have these names generated, I think, in this computer. I have the same names with me here. Though I think this one was not supposed to be here. It's supposed to come later. But these are the names that are given to you here. Okay. These are the names given to you here. And as the names are given, someone talks about copy and paste. I think my file has loaded. Yes, it is here. Members, in the comments, there are some more questions. We shall look at them later. Let's first complete this. This one, let me save. Oh. I want to save this file as Nakuya Agnes 512 in my folder on the desktop as an Excel workbook. So after saving, what am I supposed to do? I am told to use relevant formulae to calculate the total and average marks. Use an average mark to determine the positions of the pupils in a class. Okay. Here, I think I should do. Name it total, then I call it average. We are told to use a relevant formula. A relevant formula, ideally, if you ask for a formula is something that is defined by you, but not inbuilt. So here, we are supposed to use this plus this plus this one plus this one, and enter. However, some people may use the sum function. That is a function. After that, you autofill. Sum is a function. If you ask for a formula, you would use the formula. So the average is either this one out of 1, 2, 3, 4, or we would write equals, open this bracket, this plus this one plus this one plus this one. For me, I'm saying this one because I'm not reading the cell names, yet the other ones we are supposed to use. Divide by 4 and enter. So we shall autofill and have that one. Then the next question here was asking us to find the positions. Use average mark to determine the positions of the pupils in class. So we shall say positions. The positions, we shall use a function called, the function we use is called rank. So we shall say rank, this is cell, and after that we shall comma from this cell to a certain cell here, and we shall comma. Then order, we shall use either 0 or 1. 0 for descending, meaning that the value with a figure, the cell with the highest value will be given position number 1. A cell with the smallest value will be given the last position. That is when we put a 0. And when we leave it without that number, it will be left as a default 1. Okay. Then after that, we shall come to this range and fix it by putting F4. You click in the cell and press F4. You click in the cell and press F4 to make that absolute. And then we shall enter. And after that, you simply autofill and get the positions accurately. Surprisingly, they're already in ascending order. Okay. Then use a logical function to assign comments as promoted to P5 for those with average above 65. Try P5 for those with average above 45. And repeat P4 for those with average below 45. Can someone mention for me here in the chat which function that we are going to use? Someone mentioned for us the function that, okay, people know we are supposed to use the if function. Apart from if, can you mention any other function that is suitable? Apart from if. Right, another function, okay. Okay, yes, we could also use VLOOKUP. So the question is open. And apart from if, someone says we are still typing, sir. Oh, but we are also chasing time. Remember, we have 5 questions to attempt, and we are still on question number 2. True, we can use VLOOKUP, and the other one can be HLOOKUP. But for now, I think let's work with VLOOKUP. Sorry, let's work with if. The comments, we are told, let's check and confirm. Promoted to P5 for those with average of above 65. So 65, above 65 should be promoted. Above 45, try. And those below 45 should repeat before. Okay, so shall say if this average mark here is above 65, the comment there should be promoted to P5, comma, then we shall put another if Still this cell is greater than 45. Then we shall see from try P5. Try P5. Then because it is only one condition left, we shall say repeat P4. This applies to those that don't meet the other condition, but we shall close the number of brackets that we have opened. This is what applies to the nested if. That is 1 and 2, and then we shall enter. So this one will be promoted to P5, and the rest are going to just try P5. Then some other 2 people will have to repeat primary 4. Nested if, yes. Left me out on the rank. Sorry for disturbing HLOOKUP. Can you please try to use VLOOKUP 2? I request to use both VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. Okay, let's repeat the comment here. Let's repeat the comment. Let's first repeat the comment of if, because it is nested if. Nested if, we said if this cell here is greater or equal to 65. Okay, comma, open quotes, put the comment for those. Oh no, this equal sign is not supposed to be there according to the instructions. It's supposed to be greater than 65. This is promoted to P5. Then we shall put a comma, and after that, we shall put another if, because there were 3 conditions. If this cell again is greater than 45 now, we shall put a comma and open quotes. Please don't put these quotes like apostrophe and apostrophe. You're supposed to press shift and put those quotes at once. These ones are supposed to try P5, close the quotes and the comma. We said because it is left with only one condition, the rest will have a comment of repeat P4. Okay. And we said we close the number of brackets equivalent to the ones we have opened. We opened the 2 and we are closing 2 brackets. Okay, then we autofill and have this comment. Then we are going to see how do we use when ranking, how do I put dollar signs? Dollar signs, you click in that very cell and press F4 on your keyboard. There is a function key called F4. How do you look for the student with the best performance in the subjects? Of course, you look for the best mark, and you attach that mark to that student. You attach that mark to the student. We shall get to that. Let's first use the VLOOKUP as people earlier asked in the chat. We shall check. Dravu SS has that question. We shall get back that question. Comments using VLOOKUP. We are commenting using the VLOOKUP. Before we use the VLOOKUP, we are supposed to set grounds for it to work by setting the values that we want to use in columns. If it is HLOOKUP, we shall have to set the values in rows first. So here, allow me, we are going to put these values on this very sheet, but you would still put them on another sheet. We have values of 65, 45, and 0. So someone between 0, okay. Let me write it this way. 65 to 100. Let me first write it this way. We are preparing a table that we are going to use for VLOOKUP. 45 to 64. These ones are supposed to have a comment of promoted to P5. These ones are supposed to try P4. Then those with 0 to 44 are supposed to repeat P4. Okay, these are the conditions that we have. But the conditions for setting and working with the VLOOKUP are as follows. We are supposed to consider only the lower class boundary of this. That means, as you're writing, don't include this 100, don't include this 64, don't include this 44. And again, these figures here are supposed to be arranged in ascending order. So simply highlight them. I simply highlight and sort smallest to largest such that they go to the reverse. But if you know what you are doing, you don't have to do that. Simply enter them the way they are. After that, there are two options here. We would use them with the dollar signs, making the range absolute, or what I call simpler is selecting this range here. Come to the name box on the left here. In the name box, give it any name. Mine, we are working with Agnes, so I would call this Agnes and enter. For you to confirm what you're doing, please first select this again, and after selecting it, confirm that the name is there. I see Mr. Wondulu Tone.
Hey, good morning, sir.
Good
Actually,
morning.
there we're having a certain fault on 45. Is to try P5, not P4.
Oh, thank you very much.
Welcome, sir.
Yes, please. Thank you for that correction. Yes, this is supposed to be try P5. Thank you so much. We are supposed to be telling this candidate to try P5. And we said that highlight this small range here, give it a name. So we have given our table Agnes. And then come here now. We have set our VLOOKUP ready for use. Here we shall say equals VLOOKUP, opening the bracket. We want this comment of average. We are basing on average. VLOOKUP average, that cell, that first cell, comma. They're asking it for us for an attribute of table array. We have given our table a name, Agnes. Agnes. And if you realize, Agnes is coming here. Okay? And what shows us that we are correct, Agnes is here in the color and is also highlighted here. Then, comma, column index number to be given. Now, our table has two columns. And we want the values we want to be typed here by Excel are in column number 2. This is column 1 and 2. Therefore, we shall put 2. Okay? Then the range lookup, we are going to say true for approximate match, because there are some, we don't have some of, actually, if not even all of them, they don't have 65, 45, and 0, but the ranges are there. So we should tell Excel to look for where that mark lies in these ranges. So we shall type true, which is approximate, and then we shall enter. After that, simply come and double click and autofill. So realize that if and VLOOKUP are giving us the same functions. Okay, some comments down here. Difference between HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP. Pass on me on how you name that VLOOKUP box. VLOOKUP is even better. Type P5 sir. Okay, yes, that one we have corrected. Difference between VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. Okay, the difference is actually simple. The only difference is in the layout of this table. It's not a very big difference. It is in the layout of the table, because VLOOKUP is vertical lookup, HLOOKUP is horizontal lookup. I think let's also try the HLOOKUP somewhere. This is comment VLOOKUP, so let's have comment HLOOKUP. With HLOOKUP, we are supposed to have, you see we have two columns here. Allow me, let me put it down here as well for learning purposes. So here we are supposed to have 0 in that first row, 45 and 65. Then where we have 0, it is supposed to be repeat P4. Where there is 45, try P5. And this one was given promoted to P5. So we do the same thing, select this, change and give it a name. Let's call it Agnes 2. And enter. So I said to confirm, click in space, then come back and highlight your range, confirm that the name is there. You can put any name there, which will not confuse you. So let's come here now. We want to comment with HLOOKUP, and we shall say equals HLOOKUP, this average mark, comma, and the table is Agnes 2. So we have our Agnes 2 here. They still we want, it is now row number 2 that has the content that we want returned. So we shall have 2, and then still we shall put true for our comment and enter. So realize that still we shall have the same thing. So the difference here is only in applying these things in rows if you're going to use HLOOKUP, applying them in columns if you're going to use VLOOKUP. I think that one is sorted, members. Repeat VLOOKUP. Now, what would we do to repeat VLOOKUP? I said one thing you shouldn't forget before you actually work with these things, arrange the data in ascending order. Okay? After arranging the data in ascending order, put the comments accordingly. For me, I put these comments first as from 0 to 44, then from 45 to 64, then this one gives us from 65 to 100. So realize this is the same range, but you see that now the VLOOKUP is complaining. This NA error comes to mean that the value is not applicable because I have distorted this. That is why I told you that you are supposed to use the lower class boundary. And for you, if you really know what you're doing, you know that it is from 0 to 44, remove this one. Okay? If you know it is from 45 to 64, remove this one and keep it at 45. You know that it is from 65 to 100, remove this and keep it at that. So everything will go on sorting itself. Maybe just to display the formula here of VLOOKUP, we said, let me just magnify this a bit. We said we have VLOOKUP, H2, which is the average mark, followed after a comma, followed by the table name that we gave. We added 2 if we are supposed to have it in cell number 2. Sorry, in column 2. If the values we want to return are in column 2, we shall add 2 there. Then true, we shall add true, such that where there is 69, 69 doesn't appear in our table, but the computer should look for where the 69 lies and fits. Okay, I think the comment is done. Allow me that we go to, this one is done. Use a function to determine the number of students with more than 65 in each subject. So I think with more than 65, we shall come down here and maybe we put more than 65. The function there, find the number of students with more than 65 shall be, can some student type for me that function? Okay. About our consult of, okay, we shall use count if. Okay. More than 65. So we shall come and put count if equals count if in this range here. Comma, open quotes and say greater or equal to 65. But did it include 65? Let's first confirm with the question. Number of students with more than 65 in each subject, which means 65 is not inclusive. So the equal signs should not be there, and enter. So in this subject, there are only 3 people with more than 65, and we autofill. So here, this is what we are supposed to be having, okay? All right. Insert a suitable title to the work. Ensure your work has all borders activated, your name and personal number in the footer. Borders. I think to make our work better again, let's remove these ones because they may confuse us. These ones, we have used them for learning purposes. The choice can be yours on what to use and what not to use. We are told to put borders. So select this work here. Come here on borders, select borders and activate all borders. After that, a suitable title to the work. The title is supposed to be at the top. So we shall put a new row at the top. After that, in new row, preferably highlight where the data ends, merge and send. Okay? And say that primary 4 promotional results. The title choice is yours. You are free to use any any words, so long as you put a title. Suitable title, ensure your work has borders, your name and personal number in the footer, orientation of the column headings to 30. Okay, my name is Nakuya Agnes. Come to insert, look for header and footer. Okay, we are told at the bottom, Nakuya Agnes 512 at the bottom. So click there and then come back here, click the normal layout. Okay. What else? Change the orientation of the column headings to 30 degrees. Column headings are these ones. The other one is just title. These are column headings. Come here, the icon is here of orientation, or you would even click this dot here and look for the orientation. You would simply type 30 here, and then, okay, the headings will turn. That is the 30 degrees that is required of us. Represent the students' data, the names and subjects on a column graph. Okay, we could put this data here. So here we would select the names, the student name and the subjects only here. We are told to put it on a column graph. I think it is this one, column graph. I would select a 3D column graph, and probably my graph is already here. Simply hold it and move it a bit below such that it doesn't cover your data. If you realize I am putting it besides this dotted line here, there is a dotted line somewhere. If you can see it clearly, this is an indication of the end of the page. And later you're supposed to print. If I happen to put this graph to cross this line like this, when I come to print, part of this will go to a new page. Let's see the next question, which I think is for printing. Print your work on one page. Actually, print your work on one page. So this one is supposed to be fitting below this in that very line. And below here, this dotted line still should be showing me where this page ends. It ends here. And when I see my work here at the top, it is still overflowing this way, but there is some space in here. So the only option is to reduce. Simply double click. These ones, each of them will find its way. Double click in those borders there. Each of them will reduce and find its way such that you can reduce the space. You see, the things are going on reducing. And okay. The comments are also reducing. Oh, let's reduce the names also. Boom. So the dotted line is exactly at the end of my page, meaning that when I come to print now, my work will appear on one page. My chart is missing a title, so I should give it a title of students, sorry, P5, P4, promotional results. Yeah. Members, I think that one is also done. So we are supposed to be printing this. You Control P, And this is how our work should look like. Only that it is now showing me that it again has a second page. And this second page has only one line. So we shall ignore that one. What you do, come here, print pages. Here, after selecting your printer, come here and say page 1, 2, 1, such that you ignore this other single page that is coming ahead. Commonly, you people waste a lot of paper and toner of the printers. Let's see some few questions here in the chat. What about setting the worksheet to be in page under scaling in print setup? That one can also be okay. Okay, but sometimes work splits, even some letters disappear. The letters disappear after some columns have entered some other columns. Some columns may enter others. So to avoid them entering others, like I'll give an example here. We have just over fixed this. When you look at this name is being eaten up now. So to avoid it, yes, there are many ways. We'd even reduce, because the question has not talked about font size. So if it has not talked about font size, we could also change the font size to make sure that the name is fully represented. Alternatively, we would also come to page layout and change the orientation to landscape. When we change the orientation to landscape, you realize that the end of the page is even extending this way. Okay? So now when we print, it will strictly give us one page, I suppose. You see, it is giving us page 1 of 1. I think even landscape would sound better. Okay, someone asked of getting the best student, but sometimes the work splits. Okay, that one I think we have talked about. After working with V or H lookup, can I delete the tables I have used? If you delete the tables you have used, you will get errors. So you're supposed to leave the tables. If you don't want the tables to appear on your same sheet, create a new sheet and put the tables on a new sheet. Those tables will still relate with your work on the previous page, but don't delete the tables. Combining line and column graphs, combining a column graph and line graph. I think, unfortunately, I have not seen that question before, but we shall try it, don't worry. Let me first attend to someone who asked, how do we get the best student? The easiest way here is getting the maximum value. Maximum value, for example, here. And the maximum value here is 78. The 78 may be hard for you to locate here. So if it is hard to locate, simply highlight this. Come to it somewhere here. There is where we have conditional formatting. Highlight cell rules. Greater values equal to, put 78. Because you're told it is 78, highlight it red. So the 78 will be seen here. And it will be shown that Kabagambe Trevor has the best mark. I think I have sorted you. This is what you're supposed to do. Get the highest mark, use the conditional formatting, come here, it will give you where the 78 is, and you'll be able to get that one. Clarify us more about more than 65. More than 65, I think I've not got you. Okay, we used the count if, that one of more than 65. We used a count if. We said the count if you put the range and put your criteria or condition after a comma in quotes. We are supposed to have more than 65. You put it in quotes. The range, count if, range, comma, open quotes, put the condition there, close the quotes. That is with more than 65. With selecting the names of the graph, this one is just close to each other. I simply selected at once. These ones are just close, adjacent to each other. But still, if there was something on the right here, as you select this one, maybe you also want to select this, you hold the control button and select the next column while holding the control button. Then you can do the next operation that you wish to do. Then let me try to check with this graph here. Someone asks for a combination of no. That one, the one who wants a combined chart, I think I'll keep reflecting and recalling where we can do it from. Then we shall do it maybe later. Naming the axis of the graph. The axis of the graph, there are many other things you can do and name on the graph. I think I want to quit this one. There is add chart element. As you select the graph, you must make sure you click the graph here, come to the chart design, add the chart elements, axes, they are there, axis titles, where are they supposed to be? Primary, vertical, horizontal. You're supposed to put here, maybe. And you tell us the axis title is this. You rename it. Then also axis title, primary vertical, it will come here as axis title. You put there maybe max. Yeah. Things of the kind. There are many other elements that you can add. Please, you get time, pass around here. You would even change and work with the data table, the lines, the legend. There are many items at the bottom there. And sorry, on the left hand side there. Allow me close spreadsheet as well, and we go to question 3 for today. So question 3 is asking us to a certain primary school called Buja Primary School manages its data electronically. In Excel, load the database management software and save it as your name and person number in your folder. Use it to manage the school database. Use an appropriate database feature to import the data from Buja PS database XLS to have it in your database and save it as school records. So let's create access here. And with access, we shall create a blank database, as we said. With access, it will require us to first save before we do anything. So our name is Nakuya Agnes 512. And here, use this folder to locate our folder on the desktop. There is someone earlier who commented that sometimes desktop goes missing here. As we are saving, sometimes you may fail to locate desktop here. I want to ask you, you see this part here. There is a very first arrow here. When you click that arrow, unless otherwise, it's hard for it to miss in this very first arrow here. So you select it from there. And everything that you want on the desktop will apply and will be there. So you have Nakuya Agnes as our folder here, and then we shall click OK. Then after that, we shall click Create. We should close this table because we don't need it actually, because we are going to simply import. We are told that we should import, use an appropriate feature to import the data from Buja PS database, XLS. Import, it is supposed to be in the external data. Then we shall say new data source from file. Then we shall select Excel because we are told it is XLS. And here the dialog box comes, the wizard comes to direct us on what to do, how to go about all these things. Then we shall simply browse, look for the support files folder, support files, resources, Buja PS database is there, and open. So after that, we shall OK, and they'll give us, it has sheet 5. This is the data that is there. Show worksheets, which is okay. We shall next here. And we should tell it that the first row, because when you look at it, the first row has these titles. Okay. Tell it that the first row has this one. The first row contains some data that can't be used for valid field names. In these cases, the wizard will automatically assign valid field names. All right. Now, the issue here, I think, is in this EMP ID. As we are writing the field names, they are not supposed to have those symbols. That is the principle in database. But the wizard is telling us that it's going to correct that one for us. And we shall next. Here we are supposed to change to set the data types. I think we know the data types. But when I look at this, EMP ID is given short text. This one, student name, is already given short text. Gender also short text. Data type short text. This one is also short text. This one is already given date with time, which is okay. This is given short text, which can also be okay. Then we shall next. You can select access add the primary key for you. But if you say add a primary key for me, it is going to put for you a new column, which I think we don't want. Choose a primary key for myself. And the primary key I want is EMP ID. This is the reason why I told you to first open the files before actually starting to work. And then we shall next. At this point, let's read to check what is the table supposed to be named after. Ensure that your data has the correct data types and primary key, Save the table as school records. Oh. Save the table as school records. So where we have sheet 5, we shall name it as school records. That one now, and finish. We may not save the import steps. So our table is there and our data should be able to load and we see it. Okay, so this is our table. This is our data. This is our table. This is our data. So we are supposed to go and check for the next questions. The next question tells us, ensure that your data has correct data types and a primary key. So having correct data types and a primary key, I think this one, the wizard tried to help us to do it. We would come here in design view, come home, go to design view, check if we actually have the correct data types. Oh, it has added some more fields this way, which we actually don't need. So this field 8 and 9, in my opinion, we don't need. So we would right click and delete. Yes, please permanently delete them. Yes. So telephone contact, I think, is the only one that would qualify for number. So we change it for number. The primary key is already applied. So this MID, we would as well remove that hyphen and save our table. Save our table. We come back to datasheet view and the values are there. Unfortunately, when we change to number, the first number, the first 0 has been removed by the database on the phone numbers. But I think that one can be something not good though. Okay, let's go for the next question here. Create a form called people data form and use it to enter the following records. It should have a title and a logo. Use JPG from the support files as the logo. Okay, let's create a form. Now, I advise that as you create this database, the object that you finish working on should be closed. So we shall close this object from here. Come to create a form. We shall create the form in design view, add existing fields, show tables, expand the table. Let's simply double click and put these fields there. Double click and put these fields there. We are told it should have a logo. Click logo. So we look for the images called LG, which is that one. And okay, it should have a title, which we are going to call Bujia Primary School Database. I think that's all we are told it should have. Then we use it to enter the data. We should use it to enter this data. Okay, for purposes of time, I'm going to enter only one And we are going to realize that we should come to the form view here. Then come down here where we have an arrow with a yellow asterisk. We say new blank record. This first one is called STB012, number of Juliet F. STB012, number of Juliet, gender is female, stream P3A from Mitiana. Mitiana, the date of birth is 16th November 2018. 16th November 2018. The telephone contact is 07525045658. 752545658. And that's all. You would send new record, you add another one. Every time you need to add another one, you simply come to new record, save the changes. Were we given any name here? The data entry form, create a field. Okay. Okay, let's call it data entry form. And I think in this field, we are told, in this form, we are told to add a new field that calculates the age. So we shall look for the text box here, come and insert it somewhere here. We want to calculate the age. Remove this and say age. Then in this, we shall put a function, which function is called year, with a function now, an empty function, minus a function year, where we shall put this square bracket and put the exact field name the way we wrote it here. Date of birth. Oh, missing parenthesis. Date of birth, so we shall have to come here and their ages should be displayed here. And then we save the changes. Create a new folder, create a query to return pupils from Hoima district. Save it as Hoima. Create a field from a field in the form that calculates people's ages, a query to return those from Hoima. Let's close this one. Create a query design. And we add this table. And we put these fields here. The district we are asked to return those from Hoima. After that, we shall run to see who are they. And true, they all come from Hoima. We are told to save it as Hoima. And so we shall save it as Hoima. Then create another query that returns pupils whose names begin with K. Save it as K. Close this. Create another query design. And we put all these fields I don't know if I am very fast, so we shall call for student name and put K with a star, but the star to represent K as the first letter of the name with anything that follows. And we shall run, so we shall have all those names come. We save it as K as we are told, then okay. And after that, we come for another query, a report that returns pupils from P3A, save it as P3A report. This one, we could either first create a query or we could simply go to the report directly itself, report design. Preferably, actually, what would be easier for us is first creating a query for that P3A. Come create a query for P3A. Query design. Let's create a query for P3A. In the class or stream, put P3A, then run. We save it as P3A and close it. So we would simply click this P3A, come to create. Then we would select report here, and it will automatically be generated from P3A. So what we would do, simply come to design view, try to reduce these headings here, the length of these, such that our report can fit on only on one page. Okay, so we now have our report of P3A. These are the students of P3A. And the title is already there of P3A. Then you're supposed to print our work. Printing our work, you're supposed to print all the objects. Returns and insert your name in the footer. I think even the form asked us to insert our names in the footer. So how do we put the names in the footer? Come to design view of the form. The footer area is here. Look for this label, this AA. Click it, come and put the plus somewhere here. And we say that the name is Nakuya Agnes 512. Oh, yes. And Nakuya Agnes should appear here. Same thing with the form. So the report is P3A. Same thing with the form. Open it in design view. Come to the footer area. Look for this label here. Put it here. And put Nakuya Agnes 512. And boom. Nakuya Agnes should appear at the bottom there. Database, we are done. Let me see just a few questions here. What does parameter value mean? Parameter value is actually that name of the field you are using to calculate the values in Access database. Did I miss out something? Okay, thank you for this better first than the first one. Differentiate between primary key and secondary key. Actually, we don't have a secondary key, rather we have a foreign key. This applies in a database where we have more than one table, where there are two tables, and both of them, each of them has a primary key, but you find that the same field is in table 1 and also in table 2. It ceases to be a primary key in table 2 and becomes a foreign key, not a secondary key. Sometimes when entering date, instead of day coming first, it rearranges itself to make month come first. Yet I put it like it will instead do the opposite and fix the MM before the DD. Actually, I was going to tell you to format it this way. This is who? This is Agape Mary. I was going to advise you to format the date in the format that you want it. Maybe you would include the 4 or 3 days and the 3M or 4M to have a full month. It would change something. Try calculate in your age using a query, sir. I can't begin afresh, my friend. We are running short of time. What does parameter value mean? Parameter value has been asked when I type the field name. So when I type the field name, will it run? When you type what to be specified. Yes, the parameter query also always comes for something. I think let's run one query here. The parameter query here maybe. Let's first remove this K. You would put this and say, let's come to the stream. Which stream? And this is the parameter query. Enter parameter value. We have P3A. So it will return for us P3A. We come back. This is parameter value. You type the question down here, but in these square brackets. That bracket where there is the curl bracket in front of letter P on your keyboard, you put it down there. Someone asked you to calculate using a query. Let's just calculate the age. You add a new field here. Age. Put a full colon. Put the function year. Now. You put an empty now. Then minus year. Open this like we put it in the form. Date of birth. I want to remind you that in case you typed a wrong spelling, please keep it a wrong spelling. And make sure there is a tick here. P3A. Return it, P3A with their age. So allow me leave database now. So when I type in the field name, will it run it? Yes. I think these ones we have replied. It's foreign key instead. Okay. Members, I see we have 40 minutes left. Shall we really go through the last 2 questions in 40 minutes? Can I see from the chat which of the last 2 applications should we go with first? We are left with the database, sorry, with publication and presentation. Members on the call, can you let me know? We go publication, presentation, publisher. Okay, publisher. Okay, let's go with publisher. Now I'm wondering who is asking WordPress here. The one asking WordPress looks to be an O-level student. Functional primary key. What is the functional primary key? Dear friends, this is an A-level facilitation. We are targeting senior 6 candidates who are going to sit UNEB. In senior 6, we don't study web design. However, these other applications also apply to O-level. I understand there could be some O-level students on the call. Kindly, that one website we may not go through. I think given the number of publisher here, let's go with publisher. Using a desktop publication software of your choice, design 4 identical flyers on an A4 paper for a veterinary shop located in Kakomiro district. Save it as your name and personal number. Set the flyer width to 9.5 centimeter high, 9.5 and height 14 centimeters. Okay. Let's open publisher. Let's open publisher and we are supposed to save it as we are supposed to be saving it as we shall come to page design. Size, then page setup. We shall design one card and it will duplicate into 4. So here the question is telling us the height, width is 9.5 centimeters, height is 14 centimeters. 9.5 width and the height is 14 centimeters. We can see the preview here that there are 4 cards. We are told that paper 2 side and top margins should be 0.7, horizontal and vertical gap 0.5. So this one, side margin should be 0.7. And this one also 0.7. Then these ones we are told should be 0.5. And these ones also 0.5. So ideally, I think that is the setting of the flyer. Okay. The shop offers the following services: veterinary services, veterinary drug sales, artificial insemination, animal vaccination, deworming, advisory services. Okay. Company name is Vetequip Limited. Okay, this is what I was looking for. Vetequip Limited. So we shall put Vetequip Limited in the text box here. Vetequip Limited. We shall increase its font size to see that it really comes out as Vetequip Limited. And what are the services that they offer? Let's just add the text box of our services. our services. When you hold the control, you will duplicate this text box here. Okay, allow me, I'm just going to copy this, but for you, according to the paper, you're supposed to be typing it. Okay. Let me just copy this and paste here. Services, veterinary. I think for me, I would even give them bullets and numbers. Let me just give them bullets. Veterinary drug sales, enter. Artificial insemination, enter. Animal vaccination, enter. Deworming, I enter to create another bullet. Advisory services, enter. And then animal nutrition consultations and animal treatment, animal surgery. Okay. So these are the services of the company. What next? Now on the flyer, the location or address, services offered, the contacts. Location, this is our services here. No. Oh no. Let's draw a text box located in Kakumiro district. The telephone contacts, I think, would also be here. I would spread them with the 0752, that one. That is the contact, maybe. What else? It's supposed to be there. Location is there. Address. Services offered are there. The company name is there. Use any 3 relevant images from the support files folder. Use varying font styles, sizes, and colors. Let's check the support files folder and see what is there that we can use. What is there that we can use? Oh. There is also a logo. I think this one would serve as a logo, Vet Equip. This one would work. Vet Equip. Let's crop this. We'll crop it to make sure that we have only the space that we want, such that the image doesn't take a lot of space on us. Yes, after that, crop. So we could even reduce the size of this. And this being the logo, I think even this one, it would be okay if it quits, such that this image itself works on its own. Vet Equip Solutions. Okay. We are asked to use any 3 images. Any 3 images. Let's pick this one. We pick another one here and another one. Copy. I have Control C. Come to this. Control V. These are 3 images actually. I should remove one because there is already one that I have put here. So I am going to bring this one here. Come, put it here. I would even come here in the picture format, come to the picture format, give it an effect. I'll give it this effect. And surprisingly, it is covering my words. So what I do, come here and say, send it to back. Maybe it would come here and it should not cover my words. Actually, as you're designing, make sure that your content is legible. Then let me also get this one here. I would put it here, give it a certain effect. Now, which effect can I give? Let me give it this effect here and make sure that it goes also a bit behind text such that it doesn't affect the appearance of my text. I am told to use any shape. I'll come here, pick some shape maybe. Now which shape can I pick? Let me pick this triangle and use it here. I want to give it some effect. In the first place, I'll also send it to the back. Now, send it to the back. You see it is already having some color. Shape fill, I want to give it a gradient. Let me give it that gradient. Outline, it should have no outline. So this is my flyer, which I am designing for Veritech Solutions. Okay, insert your name, sorry, verify varying font styles, sizes, colors, and shapes. I have put a shape. I have not changed the font style. So I should change this font style because that's one requirement. Change the size. Come change the size, the font style, change the color. I would give it this and even underline it. The services, let me change to maybe this one. This one is being too big and it is not being accommodated. The color, I'd give it a green color. Not sure if it is clearly legible, but that's the color I am choosing. We are told that I should use my name as the contact person. So let me just duplicate this one and say contact Nakuya Agnes. So you contact Nakuya Agnes on the phone number that is provided down here. So briefly, this flyer, I can say it is done. For exam purposes, we can have it simply as that. As it is loading the preview, insert your name as the contact person, insert crop marks in your work. Oh, we are supposed to insert crop marks as well. Okay. So realize this is our flyer. And I think my computer by default has the crop marks. But how do we insert the crop marks? The crop marks will help us to know how do I cut this. So you're supposed to come here on the printers where there is advanced output settings. You activate this. You activate where there is printers marks, crop marks, you put a tick. And then, okay, this, you see these things here. They should appear on your paper to show how you're going to cut or you're going to cut it from. That is the crop marks. Not sure if there are many questions with database. Sorry, with publication. Teacher, have you made them 4? Teacher, the 4 copies. Pardon, please. Yes, this is the simplest way of making them 4. I am designing only one, and the one that I am designing should duplicate on printing. Okay? On printing, it is duplicating itself into 4. Here, when I press Ctrl P, I think you can see that in the print preview, it is already 1, 2, 3, 4. There are already 4 that are going to come and be printed on paper. There are already 4 files. There are already 4, yet I am designing one. This is done from here in page size, where you say page setup, and you say multiple pages per sheet. The setting of the question was also allowing me to have 4 of them on one sheet. That's how we are doing it. Okay, the 4 copies, I think I have pardoned that one. With this one, I think there are no many issues. Allow me save it at that. Then we can go. Oh, I think we had not even saved this. This is supposed to be Nakuya Agnes 512. We want to look for Nakuya Agnes's folder and save it there. Okay. Teacher, someone told me I'm supposed to save it as an image. Large, it appears blurry. The question paper has not told you to save it as an image. Please don't tempt yourself. The examiner told you to use a publication file. Please keep it a publication file, unless otherwise. But you should keep it a publication file, because this question here, let me get some details for you. Who wants to save an image? This question here has these dimensions given to you. These dimensions, surely the examiner will have to look for these dimensions. There is no way he will look for the dimensions from an image. But he or she will have to look for the dimensions to make sure that you set them properly in a publication file. Okay, so don't save an image, my friend. Keep it a publication file. Don't we consider the outlines of the template, placeholders? We consider them, but look, for your A-level purposes, please look out clearly on what the question wants. Mind the appearance, the aesthetics, minding the time you have for the exam, and minding what does the question ask you to do. Apply what the question is asking you to do while managing the time and managing the aesthetics and appearance of your work. Otherwise, you may want to put many things that are not asked for. You take a lot of time, and they'll not be scored at the end. You have a beautiful piece of work which has no marks to be scored. Okay, allow me, in the few minutes that we have here, I think we could talk about the PowerPoint. We can talk about the PowerPoint. You're required to create a 6-slide presentation about corruption in Uganda, and you save it as your name and the personal number in your folder. Load the file corruption.doc and use the information therein accordingly. Okay. So we look for our support files folder. There is a file called corruption. And we shall use this file corruption accordingly. While we also open PowerPoint to create, oh no. We open PowerPoint. I think we know how to open PowerPoint, and we shall save our PowerPoint in the names of Nakuya Agnes 512, and we should look for our folder. We browse and look for our folder on the desktop. Dear members, this is how we look for the folder. It is on the desktop, Nakuya Agnes. (512). I think this word has opened. So this file has the content that we should use. We are supposed to copy and paste actually. Introduction to corruption in Uganda. Corruption involves the abuse of power. Okay. Slide 1. This is what we have. Actually, we would simply copy all this content for slide 1. And after copying, we would simply paste it here. So definition, let's just put this content here. That is slide 1. Let's first copy the content, put slide 2. Forms of corruption. Copy the forms of corruption and paste here. Bribery, embezzlement, and those other things there. We put them here. Come to another slide. Impacts of corruption. Impact of corruption. On slide 3. So we can have this content, the whole of it, put here. Then slide 4, challenges in combating corruption. We shall have challenges in combating corruption. Then we get the challenges themselves. Institutional weaknesses, and those other things. Then we come to slide 5. Anti-corruption efforts. We put the title there, and then we get the content for the anti-corruption efforts. Oh no. Supposed to copy this. All right. So these are the files. We are told to have 6 slides. What should be on the slide number 6? Ideally, I think slide 6 should have a conclusion. Let's first go through the questions and see. Load the file. That one, insert relevant images on at least 3 slides. Apply appealing background styles. But before we even apply appealing background styles, the text here is so boring. We need to first do something with it. Let's just hold this. Maybe increase the font size only. And maybe the font colors, corruption in Uganda, change that one, increase the size such that the words are clearly read. Okay. Then forms of corruption. Let's increase the size of forms of corruption. Change the color. There is bribery here. Let's just bullet these ones. Abuse of power. Just increasing the font size of this such that our presentation looks fair. Oh no. Just increase the size of this. Loss of funds, impact, and now economic development, public trust government institutions, and we also increase this. We would change just the color. I'm making it a bit simpler. These ones maybe were not asked for, but because the presentation looked so boring, we'll just increase a few things here to make it not very good, but fair, given the time we have for the exam. Okay. And with this, those who are okay with using Slide Master, the Slide Master would work better. But okay, this is done. Let's see the next question. You are told to use at least any 3 images from the support files, any 3 images about corruption. I think the images are here. And when I look at this, from here I see I can even use this image here in slide number 6. Because slide 6, we are not given any content. I could simply use this to say stop corruption, such that it fills my slide. Or there is even another one I have just seen here. There is even this one. I could simply use this. And say, this is just my idea. I'm thinking. This would work as a conclusion for my slide. For my presentation, let me look for another slide, another picture here. This one would work for me on the first slide. We talk about corruption. Send it to the back. Get just one more photo. Just one more photo, put it here. Corruption is killing us and people are fighting, are crying with corruption. Insert relevant images on at least 3 slides. I think we have done. Apply appealing background styles on your presentation. Insert transitions and animations. Background styles, appealing background styles in the slides. Let me use this one. This is my appealing style, or any other. Let me use that one. Transitions and animations. We'll use that one for that. I use that one. I use random bars. I use a shape. I use a split. And this one, oh, this one has been reduced to fit. Okay. I'll use uncover for this. And then animations, I'll get float in for this. Animations, you're supposed to hold these objects, then wipe, get this object and say, look for shape. And now this one should fly in. I'm getting this object to float in, and then this other object to wipe. Then this one, simply select this. Oh, I'm already moving up. Okay. So with these ones, allow me, I'm going to end these ones here to allow a few minutes of some few questions and contributions. Animations and transitions we have put. Insert an automatic date in the slides and your name in the footer. Okay. An automatic date, insert. There is date and time. Date and time, we select this update automatically. Then footer as Nakuya Agnes. So we apply to all. And the very last one, what does it say? Print a copy of your work in handout mode. So while printing handout mode, this is Control P. So we are not supposed to print a full slide. So where you see full page slide, please click there. Look for, I have 6 slides. So I select 6, either vertical or horizontal, such that your slides appear like this. You're supposed to be 6 slides on one sheet of paper. Then you click print. I think we have gone through the entire question paper. Someone advised not to use these styles for backgrounds. Can change the settings of the presentation. Of course, now, after you knowing, post for us the question paper, please. Thank you. The question paper is already in the WhatsApp groups, and someone who has it, please share the question paper in the chat. It is in that zipped folder. Someone, loop 2 to 5. Okay. To use these designs, actually, if you realize that you're going to use these background styles, no one should discourage you from using them. After knowing their effect, please apply the design before entering your content. Okay? Because they are designs that are going to save you time instead of you going to struggle with putting the colors and what. These ones already have some default settings. Okay. Someone asks for linking or looping from here, linking from 2 to 5. This question also appeared in Word of linking. So we should either highlight this or we would right click here and select something like hyperlink, or you would press Ctrl K. Hyperlink to where? An existing file. So for us, we shall say place in this document. We are on slide 2. We want to go to slide number 5, which is that one. So you click 5 and OK. And your hyperlink will be underlined. That is it. That is how we link. But we shall only see the effect of the link when we go to play a slideshow, such that when you click here, it should take you to slide number 5. Okay. Okay, let's welcome some questions before we wind up. Can send for us that support file. The support files are already there. Some people have them. May someone with the support files please share them. Someone with the support files, please share them. And I think we are left with a few minutes. Can we have some more questions if they are there? I think we have gone through the entire question paper in the stipulated time. Oh, yes. If there are no questions, dear Mr. Kaziba, I don't know if you're still on the call. I want to send back the microphone to you. I think we are done with today's session. I want to thank you so much for giving the students chance to study and learn online, and also to thank the students and the colleague teachers on the call who have been there since we started at 10. I remain Simon Peter Kanike Chiviri. I wish you all the best, and dear candidates, I wish you the greatest success in ICT. Just know that ICT is 1 point and it is possible. Things are easy. I wish you the best.
Teacher Simon.
Yes, sir.
Someone is asking you to just talk briefly about paper 1. Briefly.
Oh, okay. Now, paper 1, what should I talk about? Paper 1 is purely structured. It has, you just write in it, no answer sheets outside. Make sure that as you're writing, you are precise in your answers. Don't be too elaborate, because you may be a great talker and then turn into a great liar. Write facts. Don't meander. Where you don't know something, please first make sure that you get the correct answer. There are some jargons that we have that are becoming so common to us. Things like Facebooking, Googling, those are coming as new jargons. Those are not correct terms we use in ICT. Please make sure that you avoid them as well. Time management is key. However, I have always seen that many of the students, as they're writing paper 1, they are always faster than the time given to them. Then also, sometimes as you're writing differences, there are normally technicalities there. Make sure the 2 terms at the end are correct. Have a differentiating word in them, and make sure that your handwriting is legible, because the examiner may land on your paper when he's actually tired and may simply go through and cross through your work. You never know what may happen. You would pass, but in the end, because of the poor handwriting, you fail to pass. Then still in paper 1, if you asked for abbreviations, please write them in full. For you to get a correct mark for an abbreviation, it is supposed to have all the words of that abbreviation correct. If they are all correct, the first letter of that abbreviation is supposed to be a capital letter. I think you should take note of those ones. Otherwise, I think that's the simplest, unless there is a particular question that someone wants to address in paper 1. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much, Teacher Simon, for your time. Thank you so much for delivering this wonderful session. I'm saying children have really gained a lot, and we are just praying for them that they may at least go out with that point of ICT. No one should fail ICT, at least go out with a point. And I'm really very happy, Teacher Simon, you have taken us through everything. I think this is the 3rd session you have given us, and I'm very sure when the children go through all those 3 sessions, I'm very sure they will not fail to get the ICT point. We are really very grateful. Thank you so much for always sacrificing your time, for setting the papers, for everything. We are really very grateful. Thank you so much. And for all the teachers that have joined the call, thank you so much. And all the different schools, thank you so much. For the candidates, we are praying for you. The time that is remaining is really limited. Kindly make sure you put in all your best to ensure that at least you pass your exams very, very well. For those who are doing math, kindly just take your lunch and then get ready for the lesson that is coming in at 2. We want to thank you so much and we want to wish you a good day. Bye, everyone.
Okay, sir. Bye-bye.